Comfort in the knowing that whether if you come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Good morning, Unity family. Yeah, please get up on your feet. We are one big family. Woo! Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
All right, go. Sing it out.
Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
You know where we're standing?
Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
Good morning, Unity Renaissance. How are you today? Come on, how are you today? I'm Christopher Naughton. I'm president of your board of trustees. I'm sharing the dais with the lovely Carol Ann today, and today is a big day. The process is starting, so our first candidate, the Reverend Arlene Meyer, will be here today. So happy you're here. You'll get a proper introduction right before you come up and give your talk today? Well, here at Unity, we practice positive, practical, progressive Christianity. We follow the teachings of Jesus as our way shower and many other masters. Unity grew out of the New Thought movement of the late 19th century, influenced by the great transcendentalists like Ralph Waldo Emerson and Thoreau and Margaret Fuller and many other great minds, and we stand on their shoulders today. And that's why we're here at Unity Renaissance. And we have a mission and a vision here at Unity, and I would hope that you would join in with both of those right now. So together, let's state our vision: a spiritually awakened world living in peace, love, and joy. And the mission, for many years it's been our mission statement: we transform lives that transform the world. Now let's just take a moment to get grounded, to be centered, whether you're watching online today or here in the sanctuary. Let's find our center. This is a big day in the history of this sacred spiritual center. And as we sit here, let us bring our presence to this moment, open to miracles, open to joy, open to love in our hearts. We are one big family, hey, hey. And we know we're supposed to be here, right now, at Unity, in the earth, at this time of tremendous change, of revolution in consciousness. We bring that spirit here today as we participate and act and work with one another and welcome Reverend Arlene in our midst. And so it is. And I'd like to ask Thaddeus Smith to come up to the dais and speak to us for a moment regarding Black History Month.
Good morning, everyone. So I grew up in the 60s during the time of, I'm not alone, okay? During the time of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X and all of the attempts to end segregation and bring racial equality. And yet, in the small town I grew up in Teaneck, New Jersey, I was actually never made to feel different, not by my classmates, many of whom became friends. I used to go over their homes and we would play together, nor by the teachers. The only experience I had of what I later realized was a subtle form of racism was when I was in what we called back then junior high school. Now it's middle school. But it was career day, and we were asked to go to our guidance counselor and share what we wanted to be when we grew up. Well, I knew when I was 11 that I was going to be a pediatrician. I didn't call it a pediatrician. I didn't know that term, so I called it a baby doctor. But I knew that's what I wanted to be. So when he asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I said, I'm going to be a baby doctor. And he said, oh, you're setting your sights too high. He said, wait, here we go. He said, you should pick something you're more suited to, like a hairstylist. And I remember thinking, I didn't say anything, but I remember thinking, how can he say that? He doesn't even know me. I'd never seen this man a day before in my life. So I wasn't even angry, I was just more incredulous. But when I went home and told my mother what he said, she was furious. We stormed up there the next day. She confronted the principal and the vice principal in the office, which was like a glass enclosed office space in the center of the building. She was standing in front of their office and she proceeded to tell them what they were going to do. She said, you will put her in the advanced classes. You will put her in science. You will put her in physics. And I'm thinking, physics? You know, but I dared not say anything, right? So I knew enough to keep my mouth closed. And she was yelling so loud that not only did everybody in the office space hear her, but the people that were walking by were looking around. And the principal and the vice principal, this is what they were doing. They didn't even say anything, and they proceeded to do exactly what she said. And the rest, as they say, is human history. So as I reflect back on that time, I actually feel grateful for a few things. One, that even though it was a time of a lot of racial tension, in the town I grew up with, I didn't feel that. So that was one thing. The other was that I had a mother who had fearless and unwavering faith in my ability to be what I wanted to be. And she advocated for me. And this was during a time when there were very, very, very few women physicians in general, and even fewer African American women physicians in particular. And lastly, that not only did she get to see me graduate from medical school, but she got a chance to experience me actively practicing in my field for a number of years, and also had an opportunity to spend at least a few years getting to have a relationship with her grandson before she made her transition. So in closing, I just wanted to leave you with a poem from an African American poet named Langston Hughes, which I felt epitomized basically the reason why it's important to have a vision and believe in your vision and strive towards that vision. And the poem is called Dreams, and it goes like this. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow. Thank you.
One, two, three, four. Please stand and join us. We all trust in God, wherever God may. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender. I surrender. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I surrender. I surrender. I trust in God. I'm joyful. So joyful. So joyful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I'm joyful, so joyful. I trust in God. And now is the time in the service where we turn and greet our neighbor with a friendly handshake, bow, or a hug. And please repeat to them the divinity salute and mean it. The divine in me greets the divine in you, and we serve and celebrate together for the glory of God. Yeah. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. Say that again. I trust in God. I trust in God. Well done. Amen, Alice.
Good morning, Unity. I'm Arlene. I'm so happy to be here today on this very, very special day. Our word for today is strength. Please join me in our affirmation. Centered in divine strength, I am confident and peaceful. If I find myself struggling to bear the weight of a heavy load, if I am wondering how much further I can travel, or how much longer I can carry on, I rely on my spiritual strength to keep me going. When I align my thoughts with this divine gift and not on the weight I carry or the distance I travel, I am tapping into the power of God, expressing as me. Through divine strength, I am renewed and refreshed. I have everything I need to stay the course, knowing the presence of God comes to me through many channels. I may ask for help and accept it graciously when it comes. I give myself breaks and make time for prayer and my other spiritual practices. Through it all, I remain strong and grateful for God within me. Our scripture verse today is from Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his power. And if you would like prayer support today, we have several options for you. You may fill a prayer request out online or on the prayer table by the chapel. You may also call Silent Unity anytime at 816-969-2000. And for those of you that are here, we have prayer chaplains. Will our prayer chaplains please stand? They are happy to pray with you after the service, and they will be located in the chapel outside the bookstore. And now, let us rise for the Lord's Psalm.
Holy Creator, we praise your name, your will in heaven and earth the same. Supply our needs, Lord, from day to day. Let your forgiveness light our way. Lead us away from temptation's hold. Deliver us, Lord, into your fold. For all the kingdom, power, and praise, with you began and with you stays. Holy Creator,
Our Father, who art in heaven,
praise your name.
hallowed be thy name.
Your will in
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
supply our needs.
Give us this day our daily bread,
From day to day.
and forgive us our debts, as we have also forgiven our debtors.
Lead us away.
And lead us not into temptation,
Temptation's
but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever.
For all the kingdom, power, and praise, with you began and with you stays. Amen. 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 Please be seated.
what kind of world could I create with every thought? If I could lift somebody up, never noticing the things I hate, 'cause we all see what we want to see, regardless of how things are. So will I listen to the shouts of anger, or hear the whispers of my heart? I want to live with love, let the rest fall away, remembering the power of my voice. 'Cause we make peace or war with all I do and say. Every moment, it's my choice. So I'll lead. I want to lead with love. Will we ever know just how powerful we are, with everything rooted in belief? Those waves of fear, let them crash into the shore, and shower your love for all the world to see. So when people all around me, they say how different we are, well, I'm gonna choose to remember we all beat with the same heart. Lead with love, let the rest fall away, remembering the power of my voice. 'Cause we make peace or war with all I do and say. Every moment, but it's my choice. So I'll lead. I want to lead with love is the answer. Love comes back to you. Take a look around and tell me, what could your love do? So go on and lead with love, let the rest fall away, remembering the power of your voice. 'Cause we make peace or war with all we do and say. Every moment, it's my choice. So go on and lead. I want to lead with love is the answer. Love comes back to you. Take a look around and tell me, what could your love do? Go on and lead with love.
Give Lisbeth a little love. Have we lost drums in the house, Terry, or? Or is it just in the monitor? It's in the house? Oh, it's not? Okay. It's working now? It's working out there? Great. Okay. Awesome. We hear those funny noises. You never know.
Yeah. It was all good. Lisbeth did an awesome job. Thank you. That was great. Good morning, everybody. Hi. I'm Valerie Winters. I'm one of the co-leads on the search committee, and I have the privilege of introducing our first candidate this morning. We are pleased to welcome Reverend Arlene Meyer to Unity Renaissance. She comes to us by way of Unity of Rockdale and Conyers, Georgia, then Unity of Savannah, And most recently, she was at Unity of Orange County in Laguna Hills, California. She's also served on the Southwest Regional Board of Trustees for Unity and on UWM's Prosperity Team. Like many of us, Reverend Arlene has had a very interesting spiritual journey on her way to becoming a Unity minister. 33 years ago, she was an atheist and an active alcoholic, but then she literally saw the white light and came to believe in a higher power. Her introduction to New Thought was the book Sermon on the Mount by Emmett Fox, and then a friend suggested she go to Unity Center in Miami, and thus began her journey of exploration into unity and what it means in 1990. She started by taking all the CEP classes, which is the precursor to SEE, and became a licensed Unity teacher. While still working and meditating in her meditation center, she felt a calling to become a minister, and in 2003, Reverend Arlene graduated and has been ministering to congregations ever since. She shared with the search committee that if ministry was where she was meant to be, then she needed to sell her meditation center that she ran with her husband, and soon after speaking that out into the universe, the meditation center found a buyer for exactly what they had hoped to get for it. Reverend Arlene continues to pray and meditate every day. She still attends her 12-step meetings and writes a weekly blog with a spiritual message that she's been doing that for 20 years. I believe and a quote from her is, "I believe the spiritual life is a journey. We always move forward or we stagnate." Reverend Arlene will bring a broad expanse of business experience to her next ministry. Before becoming a Unity minister, she ran a meditation center with her husband. As we know, the senior minister, in addition to all their spiritual duties, is also in charge of handling the business of the church, and she brings a lot of experience with that, having run her own successful business. She has experience implementing accounting programs, building and training a strong volunteer force to help support the mission of the church. She's also a published author, 7 Days to Become a Vegetarian, and she's now a vegan. And then she also wrote Finding Your Way, weekly messages to guide you on your journey, a guide for navigating through life and discovering the essence of our existence is our connection to each other, our higher selves, and the divine. Every Unity church that Reverend Arlene has been at has grown and thrived under her leadership. She's had to build programs from the ground up or help strengthen programs already in place. She's helped turn churches from around fiscally as well, taking them out of the red and bringing them into the black. She's helped train leaders at her previous churches, as well as encourage and give members the opportunity to step into their talents and uplift their church. She believes, and I quote, "A church grows in consciousness and spirit by allowing others to do what they do best." In the package, each candidate submits, they're asked to rate 9 categories according to their affinity for each of those categories. The church does the same when we submit our packet. Reverend Arlene selected as her top affinity, building leaders and teams and empowering others. Number 2 was administration, the business side of running a church. And number 3 was their focus on prayer, meditation, pastoral care, and chaplaincy. In our packet, we selected number 1 as building teams, leaders, and empowering others. Number 2 for us was the focus on prayer, meditation, and pastoral care. And number 3 for us was administration. So we are in alignment with Reverend Arlene. When asked what it was about Unity Renaissance that appealed to her, she responded, "I was impressed by your video," which is the one we show at the opening of the service. That's the one we submitted with our packet. "The inclusivity of your congregation, the energy in the community, and the music, which she has always felt is an essential aspect of the success of any ministry. Unity Renaissance has all of that." One of the things she shared when we were interviewing her was she found it appealing to be invited to a church that already has a strong youth and family ministry, as well as a strong music program. She's had to build those in her previous ministries from the ground up. Here she would have that already in place, thanks to Richard and his team and Mary and B. Now, let's give a warm Unity welcome to Reverend Arlene Meyer.
I just want to thank the music team because I really am a big music person. So it's so great when you have good music because it sets the tone. I mean, it really is. So you guys are fabulous. And Elizabeth, my God, that song was just amazing. I had tears in my eyes. I get tears in my eyes a lot, so don't worry about that. And I grew up in Teaneck. I grew up in Teaneck, New Jersey. When you said that, I was like, oh my God, I grew up in Teaneck. So so thank you. That was really very powerful. And so I like to sometimes start off with a little story, a joke. May have nothing at all to do with my talk, but that's okay. So there was this woman, and she died, and she went to heaven. And God says to her, wait, you're not supposed to be here yet. You know, you have like another 20 years. So go back. I'm going to send you back to earth. You got another 20 years. So she goes back to earth, and she thinks, I'm going to be here another 20 years. I want to look good. You know, I don't want. So she went to a plastic surgeon, and she had everything done. She had the face, the boobs, all done. Changed her hair, and she's feeling really good because she looks great. And then she walks out, and she gets hit by a bus. And she goes to heaven, and she says to God, she says, you told me I was going to live another 20 years. And God said, I didn't recognize you. So, anyway, I just think sometimes I love laughter. But if you were at my workshop yesterday, I think laughter is a fabulous tool for our spiritual life as well as anything else. And, I also believe in being practical. One of my favorite things is when I started in Unity, it was practical Christianity. And then they changed it to practical spiritual. Whatever it is, it's practical. And I think that's what sets us apart from so many other different paths. Because if what we learn here doesn't help us in life, it's just not doing its job. And for me, one of my big lessons in life is letting go. I always say when I die, it's going to say she finally let go. Because I like to hold on to things until I have to let go. And when I first heard the thing, let go and let God, I actually first heard it in 12-step, but I've heard it in Unity a lot. And I remember I was new. I had just had this experience and had come to believe in a higher power. And they said to me I had to turn my will and my life over to the care of God. So I woke up, I was supposed to go to work, and I thought, God, am I supposed to go to work? What am I supposed to do? Because they said turn your life over to God. So I'm waiting for an answer. And so I'm sitting in my chair and meditating, and I'm waiting for God to tell me, do I go to work? Don't I go to work? I mean, that's how new I was. I really didn't get the message, and nothing happened. So I called a friend of mine, and I said, I'm sitting here waiting for God to tell me what to do today, and God isn't talking to me. And so should I go to work? What should I do? And she said, I said, this let go and let God. I'm trying to let go and let God, but God is not responding. So I think I'm just going to sit here until God gives me an answer. And she said, don't sit there all day. You're going to be waiting a long time. So she says, what let go and let God means is we do the next right thing in front of us in life. We take the next step, and we leave the results of what we do up to God. So you get up, and what's the next thing I had to do? I had to brush my teeth because I was going to work. I had to get showered and dressed and go to work. And what happens as a result of what I do, I leave up to God. Because I don't know what God's will for me is sometimes. I do know that God's will for me is always my highest and best. I know that. Everything that has happened to me in my life, even before I knew or believed that there was a God, was for my best, even if it didn't look like it. We just have to go in faith. And the song you sang about trust, for me, trust is the most important thing. It's actually more important than faith. I can have faith in God, but do I trust God? Trusting in God is walking forward and doing what you believe you need to do and trusting that whatever comes of it, whether it's what you want or not, is going to be what's best for you. And I love the story of the Israelites coming out of Egypt because to me, it represents the ultimate letting go. So, we just know the story. The Israelites are slaves in Egypt, and Moses hears he's got to lead them out, and he goes to the Israelites. I grew up Jewish, by the way. He goes to the Israelites, and he says, come on, we're going to the promised land. Now, they're in Egypt, and Egypt, metaphysically, represents the material world. So they're living in this material world. They're slaves. They are slaves, but they have a house. They have a job. They get food. So they're thinking they're pretty good. And Moses says, we're going into the unknown to go to the promised land. And they all say, no, we're not. They don't want to go. So those 10 plagues not only had to convince the Pharaoh to let him go, it had to convince the Israelites that they needed to go. So they leave. And they leave murmuring and complaining. They do that a lot. If you read the Old Testament, they're murmuring and complaining a lot. And if you grow up Jewish, you know that we do murmur and complain a lot. So it's just throughout history. That's just the way it is. So they leave, and they get to the Red Sea. Now they're like, you told us to leave. We left. We left everything. We got some animals and stuff with us. And now we're at the Red Sea. The Pharaoh is coming. He's going to kill us all. And in front of us is this Red Sea. What are we supposed to do? So if you ever watched the movie 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston, you know that he did this big thing, and the Red Sea split, and the Israelites walked through. And as a kid, those were always the pictures. And then, the Pharaoh comes, and the waters come over the Pharaoh, and the Pharaoh, the Egyptians die. Well, there was a recent movie called Of Gods and Kings, and it was a remake of the story. And what's interesting, this is a fairly new movie. In this movie, they get to the Red Sea, the storm is going, the sea is really rough, the Egyptians are coming. And Moses gets this insight, and he decides that they have to go into the Red Sea and to begin to cross. Now, the sea has not parted, and the water is really rough because the storm is happening. And he goes and starts walking into the water and convinces them, even though they're murmuring and complaining continually, to do this. And they walk into the water, and they are up to their waist in the water before the Red Sea parts. And then they walk through, and of course the pharaohs don't get through. Well, for me, that is what life is about. We sometimes have to walk forward into the water. The seas don't part. We don't make a decision, and sometimes everything parts. But if we have faith and we trust in God, we can walk forward knowing that God is there, and that whatever happens, whether it's what we want or what we don't want, it doesn't matter. It's going to be for our highest good. And for me, how I know that is I look back to times in my life when things did not go the way I wanted, and they turned out to be the best. And we did this a lot in the workshop. I mean, I have so many stories of what I didn't get that I thought I wanted and was really the best for me. And sometimes it's hard to see. So mentioned we had a meditation center. But before that, I was living in Miami, and I was an insurance agent. And 1992, Hurricane Andrew hit. And my office was down by the Homestead Air Force Base. And if you know anything, the Air Force Base was destroyed, the military was gone, the retirees were gone, everything was gone. My office was gone. It was just really bad. But before that, I used to think, I love this job. I love my job. I mean, it was a great job. And then Hurricane Andrew happened, and the whole industry changed. Beside the fact I lost the office and all of that. And I thought, this is like the worst thing that has ever happened. As it turned out, it was the best thing, because shortly after that, my husband had this vision about this meditation center. And had I still liked my job, I would have probably said, well, I can't do that. We're not doing that. But I was like, I don't like this anyway. And so we left. But I had to give up my income. And we had to trust, and we had to open up this place and trust that God was going to be there. And we did. And it was called Vision Farms, because my husband had a vision, and so this meditation center was a vision. And we struggled. For the first 18 months, it was really hard, and we had to keep believing that this is what God wanted us to do. And so we kept going forward. And then what happened is other groups started using us, Buddhist groups, Jewish groups, Catholic groups, 12-step groups, and we started doing really well. But then, 10 years later, I get a message to go to ministerial school. And I'm like, well, what are we going to do with this center? I am the cook, I'm the office person, I'm all this kind of stuff. And everything happened for me to go. It's a long story, but I'll tell you, every single thing that had to happen at a certain time happened, so that when it was time for me to leave, I packed up my truck. I looked like the Beverly Hillbillies. I had the mattress on top of the truck. I had things all over the place, and I took off for Kansas City. And the right and perfect people came at the right and perfect time to take over what I did. So years ago, I was an atheist, but something happened to me which now I look at and I see how this was a perfect example of this whole idea of letting go. So my children were little, and I didn't have a lot of money, and I decided to take them to Disney World. We lived in Miami. And Disney World back then had these tickets. They had A, B, C, D, and so you would always use the good tickets, and you'd always have tons of rides left of the bad tickets, and the kids didn't want to go on them. And I was trying to figure out what to do. So there was a circus world not far from Disney World. And the circus world was a Ringling Brothers thing, and they had a participating circus. And so what they would do is they had a big top, and they would have all the acts, and they would have people come from the audience to do the different acts. So they had somebody come to be the lion tamer, they had clowns, and they had people volunteer. Well, if you've ever seen movies about circus, usually the final act is the trapeze act. That's the big deal. And every trapeze act has an older person who's experienced a guy, a young guy, and then a woman, a beautiful woman. So I'm a big movie buff. I love the movie Big Top with Burt Lancaster, Tony Curtis, and Gina Lola Brigida. So I'm going to call this trapeze team Tony, Burt, and Gina. So they asked for a volunteer. Now, I am very short. I know you can't tell when I'm up here. But I am like 5 feet. So when you're short and you're looking at life from a lower level, you tend to have a fear of heights because you're not looking at anything from a higher height. So my kids are that age. If you ever had boys, you may understand this, they were like 8 and 10, and they decided it would be a good thing to volunteer their mother, who they knew was afraid of heights, to go to do the trapeze. So they're volunteering me, pick her, really making a big deal about it. The ringmaster thinks this is so funny that these little kids think their mother should go up on the trapeze, that he picks me. And I'm sitting there walking up and I'm thinking, how do I get out of this so I can kill these children? I need to survive because they are going to die. And so I'm walking up there, and my mind is going how I'm going to kill my children and get away with it. So I get up to the bottom of the ladder, and Bert is there. And Bert says to me, take off your shoes, climb up on the ladder. Gina is up there. Gina will tell you what to do, and then you're going to swing out, and Tony's going to catch you. I'm thinking, on what lifetime is that going to happen? So the next thing I know, I'm climbing up the ladder, and I get up to the top, and it is really high. I mean, even if I wasn't short, it would be high. And even though there was a net, it was really high, and I thought, so what, there's a net. I'll fall in the net, I'll bounce out of the net, I'll fall on my head, and I'm still going to be dead. The end result is the same, with or without a net. I will probably not survive this. So I get up there on the platform, and Gina says to me, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to take the trapeze, I'm going to swing it out. It is going to swing back. You're going to grab it. You're going to swing out. Tony is going to be swinging out. Tony's going to yell, let go. And at which point, you're going to let go of your trapeze, put your hands out, and Tony's going to grab you. I am thinking, On what? What? My mind is like, I'm not going to grab the trapeze. If I don't grab the trapeze, I can't be swinging out there, right? So I'm up on the platform, and Gina, swings out the trapeze, and she gets in the trapeze. And the next thing I know, she has put my hands on the trapeze and kind of pushed me out. And now I'm swinging across the big top, and everybody looks really far. But I can hear my children laughing. And it got much worse. So I hear them laughing, and so I swing out, swing back, I swing out, and Tony screams, "Let go." And I scream, "Hell no." There's no way I'm letting go. There's no way. So I'm swinging back. Tony swings back. Tony comes back. He screams to me, "Let go." Now the words are getting a lot juicier. Every time he screams, "Let go," I have another profanity to scream at him. So I'm going. Now everybody in the circus is laughing. I can still hear my children laughing louder than anybody. They tell the story to their kids because they still think it's so funny. So we're out there. Tony thinks this woman is crazy. She is never going to let go. So he goes back to his platform. He's done. Now I'm there all by myself. I'm up there swinging. There's nobody at the other platform. There's no one to catch me. The only hope I have is falling, and I'm sure I'm going to die. So I am swinging, swinging, swinging. And what happens if you don't know with a trapeze, if you're not really moving it, it stops. Now I am hanging over the circus, not moving anywhere. Everybody is laughing. I have visions of all kinds of things. My contact lenses are going to fall out on someone's forehead. What's going to happen when I drop. And then what happened is my hands got so tired, and my shoulders got so tired, and it got so difficult to hold on. Now, isn't that the way it is with life sometimes? We hold on to something, a job, a house, a relationship, whatever, and we're holding on, and it does not work for us. It is not working, and yet we hold on, and we insist on holding on. And what happens is eventually the pain gets so bad that we have no choice but to let go. Now, it would be a lot easier if we would let go before we went through all that pain, because the end result becomes the same. God's will is done in our life, no matter how much we fight it or not. So I decide I have no choice. I have to let go. I couldn't hold on anymore, and I just thought I'm going to die because I'm going to fall in that net. I'm going to fall out of the net, because when they fall in the net, they just bounce back out. They fall in, they bounce out. I think, I'm not going to be bouncing out. So I fall into the net, and what happened was the net came up and enfolded me. And I realized years later, that's God. That's how God works in our life. We let go, no matter how scary it is, and we go forward doing what we believe is God's will for us. And God's grace comes up and enfolds us. You see, God's will never takes us where God's grace does not keep us. That is just the way it is. And yet our fear keeps us from doing that. So when we have a deep faith in God, and when we truly trust God, then we can let go before we maybe go through all of that pain. Because God is always with us. For me, God is love, and love never lets you down. Love never lets you down. And so I'd like to do a little meditation, so I invite you to close your eyes a moment, take a few deep breaths, and bring to mind maybe something you're going through now. It might be worry over someone in your family. It might be a job description, a relationship, whatever it is. We know what we're holding on to. We hear the little nudges from God, and yet we insist we are going to hold on. So I want you to take a deep breath and ask yourself this. Either God is everything or God is nothing. And if we believe that God is everything, and we know that God is love and light and wisdom and power, strength, why do we fear letting go? God is this strength that allows us to walk into that water, even if we have to go to where it's up to our waist, knowing that the water will part, the net will engulf us, and we will be okay. So I want you now to just spend a couple of minutes, whatever came to your mind, and just visualize that net of God's grace enfolding you, keeping you safe, protected, and always looking out for you, for your good. One of my favorite affirmations is, this too is good. This too is God. And this too is meant for me. So just affirm that while sitting in the silence. This too is good. This too is God. And this too is meant for me. And so we release and we let go. And we take our faith and put feet on it. And it becomes trust as we walk forward, doing God's will, God's time, and God's way. And for that, we say thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love.
Reverend Arlene, thank you so very, very much. Another round of applause. Wonderful. Masterful. You know, if you do end up coming here as a sidelight, there's a great comedy club right down the road. You'd fit right in. It's at this point in time in our service where we get to jump into the stream and receive and give and receive. It's all in a circle, is it not? And that's what we do here. And over the years, many of us who have been here for some time have seen us prosper. I mean, this entire sanctuary is different. This entire building is different. All because of your hearts. All because of your presence. So today we get a chance to dive back in, and there are many ways We can give back to ourselves, to this wonderful ministry. You can write a check. We still do analog. Go to the back of the room. There's a basket there. We take cash. We take checks still. Yes, thank you. Let's hear it for cash, right? You can certainly do a bank draft or what have you. But around here, and you can go to the website, there's a really fun way of giving. So all you have to do is text GIVE to
540-418-1228. Text now.
So if you would take your literal or figurative gift, hold it close to your heart, and join me in our offertory blessing. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful.
Give and it's given back to you. Give and it's given back to you. Give and it's given back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. Back in good measure, it's given back to you.
Thank you. For our salute to Black History Month this week, we're going to do a song by Johnny Nash. It was also cut by Jimmy Cliff. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. Wait, what? I have seen all obstacles in my way. Hey, gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. Well, it's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Oh yes, I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. Well, it's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Yes, it's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue skies. Come on, Tim. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Yes, it's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Oh, it's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day.
That's Mr. Boyd Black for you, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh.
Yeah, bring that sunshine. You know, last night we were talking to Reverend Arlene, and Shad Groverland was here last year. He's the CEO of Unity Worldwide Ministries, and they were talking about how vital and important it is to have a strong music team that builds ministry. It may be the number one thing. That's what we have. Thank you all. Well, if you're here for the first time today, we would like to meet you. We would like to treat you. So if you're here today, don't be bashful for the first time. Raise your hand high. Truly, oh, there we go. We've got at least one here. Anyone else? Because what we've got is a gift for you. And if you look inside that folder, there is another card. Bring it to our bookstore, and you'll get another free gift. So with that, let me ask the Right Reverend Richard McDeesey to come to the stage. He'll be joined by Carol Ann. Here are the announcements.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Reverend Arlene. What a great morning this is. Woo! Are we all going to go home ready to go? We're ready to. Okay, so today is football. It's I don't know if I can say Super Bowl or without getting sued by the NFL, but it is Super Bowl Sunday, and well, I'm ready. I started this morning. I'm wearing them all day long, baby. My Chiefs socks here, KC, right there. That's it. All right. So yeah, come on tonight. It starts at 5. Bring some snacks to share. I think we'll be in Meyer Hall, so it'll be a nice, beautiful, fun time for y'all today. And now it is time for Brother Charlie O'Dowd, our resident film expert, to come up and talk about our movie this.
It's Black History Month. The film that we've chosen for this month is King Richard, the story of the Williams family. There he is. Richard Williams with young Serena and Vina. It's important for 2 reasons. One is it's a story of a very, very successful black family. For 2, it's because of the way Richard Williams was treated during this time. He was vilified in the press as being somebody who was pushy, who, like Dr. Smith said, get over there. You're not ready for this. Get over there. This film shows really what happened, and the Williams family were a part of that. Secondly, this is Black History Month. So for those who are African American in our community, this is a celebration of their culture. For those of us who are not African American, we need to learn some history. So let me recommend that you read. Dr. Smith, you mentioned August Wilson, I believe. No, you mentioned, thank you, Lorraine Hansberry, Toni Morrison. There's a lot to read. If you go to any bookstore, any library, they have a whole display of books that are important this month. And if I may, I've read books by 2 black authors in this community. Professor Elroy Boyd, sitting back here in the back, and Dr. Shafiq Amin. So if I may, there's Dr. Amin. Read.
And now I have 2. So it's working now. No, it's not. Okay, I can speak.
Now it's working.
Okay, so next Sunday is the book sale. And this is the YOUers are having a book sale to raise money. So come out, buy books, and support the YOUers. It's a great thing to read.
A lot of great books, too. A wide variety of books. And as you know, this entire year, we've been having one of our board members available for you to ask questions about the ministerial process, what's coming up, what's about that, or anything else that has to do with the church. And today, our board member of the day is... It's Christopher Naughton, ladies and gentlemen. Here you go.
Thank you. After service today, we are asking everybody to fill out feedback forms based on our wonderful Reverend Arlene's talk today. When you leave the sanctuary, there's going to be ushers at both sides. They're going to be handing out the forms and pencils. We are asking that you guys fill them out before you leave the building. We're going to have a couple of people at the doors making sure that you've handed them in. We don't really want them taken out of here because we want that feedback. We want that feedback as soon as possible to expedite our process. The live stream, you can access your feedback form if you log into the Q&A Zoom, which is located at the bottom of the slide. It's going to be also located online for you to access. Once you get into that Zoom, you can click on the chat, and the link for the feedback form will be on there for you to fill out. We're asking only one person fill each form out. These forms are completely anonymous and confidential. There's going to be a space at the bottom of it. Please don't put your name on there. It was left there, but please don't put your name on it. We want this to be anonymous and confidential. The criteria is there is no criteria. You do not have to be a member. You do not have to be of a certain age. We want every single person's feedback. It is important to have the diversity of feedback in this process. I'd ask for everybody in the search committee to stand up. Now, please. Yes, now. Stand up. So we've got Bob, we've got Star, we've got Kathy, we've got Jolene. Stand up, girl. Valerie's in the back. There's also Humphrey, myself. Once you are done filling out your feedback form, fold it in half and hand it to one of us at the search committee. And Bob and Star will also be located at the doors to receive your feedback forms as well. And the Q&A starts at 12:30, so please feel free, go out and do some fellowship in Meyer Hall and come back in for the Q&A. Thanks so much.
Now let's. What does that say? Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Check.
Thank you.
Well,
I knew I missed something and
Except
walked
my
off and
mic
felt
was
like I
on.
missed something. Childcare, very important. If your kid is over 5 years old, please go pick them up. We only have childcare available for ages 5 and younger, and that will be for the Q&A session only. Thank you.
All right. Now let's stand and welcome our children in.
We are walking in the light of God. 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 We are walking, we are walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking, we are walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God.
Check 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2. Check.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you. Good morning. That's way better. Thank you. So today was Samaritan Second Sunday, as we all know, where we make sandwiches for the homeless. We didn't get dirty today, so that's a plus. No parents will be upset at me. That's wonderful. We're so happy to be here. And let's start with our prayer. Offertory angel. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, let's take a deep breath. Oh, sweet spirit, thank you so much for this day. So grateful for the rain so that we may have the vegetation and the food that we need. So grateful for umbrellas so that we stay dry. Thank you for our volunteers, for all the sandwiches made with love. I actually heard a student say, I'm making this with the kindness of my heart and my love. For another person, so grateful for everything our children bring us, big and small, as well as these monetary gifts. And so it is, amen. Okay, I have 2 sharers today, and I just want to, one of my sharers is our Unitine, and I need to give her a big shout out, Miss Espy. She was truly a leader today. It was extremely touching. She led a small group of children making sandwiches, had the kindness and the patience in her heart to work with them, and she did a phenomenal job, so I have to let you all know.
So not only did we make sandwiches today, but we also talked about how everything is vibrating and we're all made up of atoms, and you don't notice that everything's vibrating because if one thing wasn't vibrating, you would notice it because everything is doing the same thing.
So today we learned about how to be grateful for what we have and what we don't have, and just to know someone has it harder than us, and we have to know how to give back to that person who has a harder time than we do.
That's great.
I could not have said it better. So with that, please stand for the prayer of protection and the peace song.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it